Okay, Sam, this is Steve on mic 1. Good evening, hello and welcome to JL Murphy.
This is Peter on mic 2, and fascinating game, this one.
All good?
Sorry? No. Well, Port, technically they're not relegated, but if they lose today, I think it's over.
I think that old Tony next week.
Sorry? No, 3 of them Melbourne Victory.
Oh, true.
Yeah. The 3 go down, I believe. Which is a bit harsh, actually.
Pretty harsh.
Should be just 2.
Feel bad for them. They're just under, 23s. The Melbourne Victory team.
They've done alright this year. They play some good football.
They're just going to get replaced by City.
Yeah.
Maybe Western even as well if they can win the final.
George Cross looks strong.
Be good with George Cross getting up. You have Preston and George Cross up at the same time.
Yeah.
Heidelberg doing well. Preston doing well. South Melbourne improving again. Knights is a big loss to the comp in some ways, but in other ways they're not a big loss because of that. Yeah,
Exactly. They haven't really put,
They haven't had a crack at...
Like Avondale have,
Yeah, they haven't had a crack at... look at Avondale. They've had a crack at the women's competition. They've got a women's NPL team next season.
Yeah, I know
that's happening.
Next to me where I live. And they're really, they want to beef up their junior development. They're bringing in new coaches, a bit more 4 days a week of training, which is very good.
Yeah. Are you going to go have to look at the game tomorrow?
I can't. We're going to
Oh, you're busy. Oh, you're on the snow tomorrow?
I just like mountain for the day.
Yep.
No, I just like mountain. I'm not really more for the little, just check it out. No, we're not going. I don't even have snow gear, but we've got some. We borrowed some. It's really cold.
Yeah.
Haven't been for years.
It's probably a good week to go though, right? Because there'll be a bit of snow there, and it won't be wet. Like the weekend weather seems pretty nice, right?
You went?
I haven't been, but it'd be better than say like last couple of weekends where it's been a bit. Like last weekend, I went to Taradale, up other side of Maston Ranges.
Oh wow!
Like just drizzle the whole time, like really cold.
It's not sunny the next few days.
Yeah.
But it depends where you go. It's quite expensive. Yeah.
True.
Where are you going to stand?
I'm just going
Probably
to
have to
say
stand
these, yeah.
here. I'll wait for Steve's the head.
Probably there.
Yeah, we're probably going to do it here, man. I'll wait for Steve. Because he's the... Yeah, we have the teacher. Right, let me just... Yeah, you've got to put it up here. It's got to be behind the camera. We can't. We're going to block the recording. Thank you. You got the 2 sheets? And I'll give them to you.
One, two. How you doing?
Let's go.
Dan's got to keep on winning. They've got easy games, but they've got a huge medalist. Dandy City are playing the bottom 3, the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, Heidelberg on top.
Avondale. Less than about 4th or 5th.
I know it's close. These people are savage.
Yeah.
I got him, yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, okay.
He's done a good job. He's got a good vantage point there.
That's all right. What do you want? Do you want to go here or do you want to go there? How do you want to do it?
I'd go easy.
You want me to go there?
See how that goes.
Pop talk over you. No, I'll go here. I'll go here. I'll probably talk over you. Yeah, no. Yeah. I'll look at you. I'll use your name, Steve, so when I'm crossing back to you, if it's just a natural chat, you'll get the name, and then you know you're straight on. But I'm obviously on, I might stop suddenly, obviously, because of opportunities. You're missing everyone, man. I mean, Diaz, Sandrados, Ferrer. Who else? Gibb. No, he's not in the state.
Let's go!
Welcome, JL Murphy's the scene, NPL Victoria, round 24 of the men's competition, Friday night football coming your way down here from Melbourne's southern suburbs by Port Phillip Bay. It is Port Melbourne. There's some faint hopes that they can stay in the top flight, and Dandenong City, well, they are well and truly on charge for a spot in the top six. Look out, Hume City and Preston Lions. The Dandenong City boys are coming. Looking forward to seeing how the 90 minutes plays out here. Steve Curtin with you for the call, and alongside me, very warm welcome, Peter Paleologos. Good evening.
Good evening, Steve. Good to see you, and good to see all the listeners tonight. Yes.
Let's go!
Well, we'll be back with the starting lineups after the promo. And the players are out on the park now, so let's get to those starting lineups. And there's 3 changes for Maxim Gajdoski's Port Melbourne Sharks. Out of the team that went down at Hume City last week is Maker, Daniel Serra and Amonhon Kamis. So it sees them lining up with Luka Romic in goal. In defence, it's Riyad Muyet, Will Gillingham, Oliver Yankolowski, and the return of Johnny Vikertzis. In midfield, Anthony Laban and George Malls will pull the strings. Mitch Trajewski ahead of them. Out wide, Owen McCloskey. In attack, Phil Harbinson and Aidan Brown, who also comes into the starting 11. It's a youthful bench as well for Maxim Gajdovski's Sharks. Nicholas Skocic is the substitute goalkeeper. There's chance for debuts for some players, including Levi Leister, a product from the Albury-Wodonga region. Also on the bench is Christian Vranek, Lachlan Maguire looking to make a debut, a more experienced player in Nathan Dibb, and Lucas Katsianis as well. Dandenong City make no change to the side that knocked off the Oakley Cannons at home last Friday night. So it sees them lining up with Matthew Maram in goal, the back four, Valley Sesnick deputising at right back, Donny Gurdich, the mid-season signing in central defence alongside Gaku Inaba and Corey Sewell, the left back, Tom Giannakopoulos, who's played in most positions in the back, probably six of the team this season, everywhere but goalkeeper, lines up in central midfield next to Danny Kim. Jamie Latham will play in the attacking midfield role. The front three, Tim Atharinos, Yagub Mustafa and Will Bauer. And as our match referee, Yana Zizis, is just turning the players around the bench tonight for Dandy City, Pierce Clark, returning player on the bench is Jack Webster, the experienced figure. Brad Plant as well. Kenny Athu, another player with plenty of experience as well. Diego Cuba and Jackson Lino. So they're stacked for options and talent, this Dandenong City side, as they chase a spot in the top six of NPL Victoria. They've been lurking just on the precipice of finals all season, and they might be just about to sneak in just at the right time. We've got sixth place Hume City in action tonight as well in the clash against the Melbourne Knights. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it's the Sharks on the attack early. Getting across to cut out the danger there was Tom Giannakopoulos. And they get the goal kick going their way. Our assistant referees tonight, Thomas Rushton and Daphne Gunaris and Calvin K. Berg. In front of us is the fourth official. It's a cool night, not too breezy here as well. Good conditions for football, Peter.
Yeah, no, very good conditions. We had a sunny day here in Melbourne, so very nice conditions. A bit cold, but we're ready for it. And as you mentioned, fascinating duel. A younger Port Melbourne, which you are probably already the second youngest team in NPL, and Dandy City, who are primed maybe for a top six. I mean, you mentioned their bench, Webster, Athau. I mean, the firepower on there is just amazing. So really a lot of options, and they want to win tonight and see what happens with Hume. So it should be fascinating. But early on, Port Melbourne starting strong.
Well, they haven't started like a team lacking in confidence. They're on the back of 4 straight defeats at the moment, but they haven't started looking like they're a team on such a bad run. It's 4 straight losses since their 2-1 win against the Melbourne Victory on the 23rd of June. A Liston Diaz-inspired Port Melbourne Sharks that night. And the other team news, of course, for Dandenong City is that Bill Theodorakopoulos is taking over things tonight with senior coach Nick Tolios still on holidays in Greece. He will not return from his trip, Peter, until round 26.
That's fascinating, taking leave when you're right on the cusp of finals football. But I think Dandenong City have shown they're being very well managed. They've got the talent, and it's, I suppose, giving an assistant coach a chance to show what he can do. But I think Nick Tolios will probably be on the live feed here, so we'll be hoping his team gets the result for those final 2 rounds.
Well, hoping the weather's nice over there as well for Nick on his Greek holiday. It's 11 degrees here in the opening minutes of this one, down here by Port Phillip Bay. Dandenong City in that all-white kit. Seeing if they can keep things clean on the ball and keep that kit clean and maybe keep a clean sheet as well. Valley Sesnick just having his touch of aid in there. The pitch is still looking like a bit of a patchwork quilt from up here. There's some bits that are nice and smooth. There's a big pothole just on the edge of the centre circle where it intersects the halfway line on the near side here that you'll be able to see through the vantage point that Sam behind the camera is giving you a look at the action tonight. And there's a foul, a whistle on play over near the Laurie Schwab press room on the far side. I can't quite see if there's any mannequins lurking in there tonight. I haven't been down to JL Murphy since early in the season, but that was a staple inside that box earlier, or at least last season. The mannequin, the Port Melbourne mannequin, looks like it might have been replaced by some training equipment there. Maybe some of those little figures that appear in the wall for training. Here's Yagub Mustafa. Corey Sewell providing the overlap. Jamie Latham providing the running, as he's done all season. And getting across to make the decisive touch and get the ball out of play was Oliver Yankolowski, one of the 3 players who's come into the starting 11 tonight.
Yeah, it's difficult for Port Melbourne. They're missing, if you look at their scorers this season, you're missing Liston Diaz, their top scorer with 8. You've got Ferrer, the winger, he's out as well. So, and then Dib, who's probably their best set piece specialist on the bench. So, really difficult. And option-wise, they're playing a few young guys, but that's a good. I mean, you want to see younger players in the NPL, and this is an opportunity for those players to showcase, not just for next year, but for future NPL opportunities.
That's right. And they had a really strong under-23 side, or under-21s at the time, I think a couple of seasons ago under Nick Marinos, and we've seen the fruits of that team as well with the likes of Dylan and Mark Leonard, both appearing for Western United in the Australia Cup in midweek, the 2 teenagers. And it's again another opportunity here for the Sharks to try and create something as they switch the play from left to right. This is the opportunity for Yankolowski. Plays it in. Dummy was from Mel's. There was no one really behind him except for Inaba, the goal scorer for Dandenong City last week, getting his first goal in NPL Victoria from the set-piece opportunity. A really good delivery from Jamie Latham from that one. And there's plenty being said in the 6-yard box, as we can hear on the broadcast as we await the corner kick to be taken by the returning player George Malles, back from South Melbourne in the mid-season window. Gets the corner into the danger zone. It's just about cleared, but not quite. Laban fires it back across, and it needed a save from Matt Marum, and he tips it behind for the first corner of the evening. Good ball in by Mel's, and, well, a really good opportunity there. Anthony Laban made something out of nothing.
Yeah, Marum's been an interesting one because obviously last few, maybe 5-6 rounds, been very good keeper, and that's what you need for Dandy City. But Laban and Mel's, strong midfield, you can't discount them, and they're going to cause problems today for Dandy City.
Another opportunity for Mel's here. Everyone back in defence for Dandy City. This would be a banana skid if they were to go down here, and Marum, he's fumbled it on the first attempt. It's still there, and it's fired home. And Port Melbourne are in business here. Well, Port Melbourne getting first blood. That's Will Gillingham, the central defender, given space and time in the box. And Will Gillingham, the mid-season signing, gets his first goal for the Sharks in NPL Victoria. The boy raised in Auckland, spent some time in the States, and he's got himself on the score sheet here.
Yeah, he's a fantastic finish there, but it's been Port Melbourne early on and really putting the pressure on. Laban, Mel's, and I see Vakizis on the right. He's always pushing forward, more of a wing-back and really attacking mindset early and getting him a fantastic finish. I know he's a mid-season signing from Cove Rangers, I think it was. But, yeah, fantastic finish, and Dandy now need to step it up a little bit.
I wonder if any of his old teammates are watching back in Scotland there from his stint over at Cove Rangers there, but it was a fine finish on his left foot. But, well, Dandenong City will be wondering where the marking was. So, just as they did last week, they opened the scoring on Friday Night Football against Hume City through George Mel's. It's another new signing tonight that gets first blood in this game. Can they go on with it this time, though? That was the problem last week. They ended up folding like wet cardboard and conceding 4 to a rampant Hume City.
And that's always the danger, I would say, especially with Dandy City, the players they do have on the bench if they need to mix it up. But early start, they're looking very confident. And I have to say, Vakizis is providing him a lot of width. And Laban's calling the shots in the midfield. So, a very good start by Port Melbourne.
No doubt about that, as they're bossing things out there at the moment. It's in by Mel's. Interesting contribution and a bit of insight on the 1-0 FC podcast that he spent some time on recently, talking about his exit from South Melbourne. An interesting season behind the scenes there. That was really insightful as well. But he's back at the club where he first landed in NPL Victoria before his stint at Avondale, which was a successful one, and then the brief stint at South Melbourne. Up against his old teammate, Valley Chesnick, as well tonight. Ball going down was Aidan Brown. Was there contact? It was only faint, but Gaku Inaba is going to go into the book here.
Yeah.
In fact, no, it's for simulation. Well, I thought it was faint contact. It was no contact, Peter.
Well, it looked like Aiden Smith really. I haven't seen him dribble much, and one-on-one, and he got through there, but maybe threw himself down, and the referee was there and decided against him. But you've got to try things, and that's what Port Melbourne are doing very early. They've got the freedom to, and creating a few opportunities and problems for Dandy City, who still haven't into their groove.
Good knockdown by Aiden Brown. That time he was offside, though, but it's good to see Brown and Harbinson linking up together up top. It's not often you see the two up top strategy at this level or any level these days. And looking at the footage of the match last week for Port Melbourne, Harbinson, the youngster, looked a little bit isolated up there, and perhaps the duo, the strike duo, something like a tactic we've seen in yesteryear, might be working for them so far tonight. Aiden Brown will need to be keeping his feet, though, for the remainder of the game, Peter.
Yes, he will be. I did say Aiden Smith. That was a slip. It's actually Aiden Brown. There's a lot of Smiths that I deal with, so apologies to Aiden there. But yes, good start. And right now, Port Melbourne are really dictating play.
Well, they are indeed forcing a save already out of Matt Murram through Anthony Laban, and on the score sheet through Will Gillingham. An unlikely source to goal, but they lead this one here, 1-0. And if the scoreline was to stay like this, their survival hopes will take a big boost. They've got Altona Magic next week, and that will be a genuine six-pointer, particularly if they're able to get the win tonight and perhaps close the gap. Altona is also in action tonight. Simultaneous kickoff with this one out at Jack Edwards Reserve. New grandstand taking shape. That's going to be a great venue, but Altona Magic, if they could get something out of that game, that would be a kick in the pants for Port Melbourne. But fancy Oakley would be looking the goods to get something out of that game, if not all 3 points. Whistle on play here from Giannis Isis. Decision going the way of Dandy City.
Yeah, well, listen, Diaz been holding the line most of the season for Port Melbourne, but it's good to see Harbinson and Aiden Brown. They're both lively, causing problems, and you can even see Inada a little bit concerned. Obviously, you've got Donny Gerdic, who's got interesting stories. I actually know his dad. I met his dad in Croatia, and he was part of the HNK Sibenik, I believe, a regional team, very good team, and also part of the Australian under-20s or under-17s. I think it was the under-20s, but good to see him in NPL football and trying to maybe make a career here. Who knows, we could end up maybe in the A-League.
Yeah, an interesting talent. He's born over there on the Dalmatian coast in Šibenik. Certainly adds plenty of height as well. 190 centimetres. Has made one appearance in the A-League with the Western Sydney Wanderers as well. Maybe more to come if he can impress at this level, as you say, Peter. Oh, going down, but no foul. Was Harbinson. Danny Kim getting on the ball, and that's what they're going to need to do. Danny City, but they've given it away easily here. Picked up by Riyad Miyet, who went off injured in the first half last Friday night, so it's good to see his name on the team sheet, and he looks like he's operating at 100% or close to. Ball in by Verkurtz. This was an awkward one. Collision in the box. Aiden Brown going to ground again, not the first time tonight. Collision with Inaba. It was all accidental, says Giannis Isis. No appeals from either player involved. Going away from his own goal there was Atharinos, lining up on the right-hand side of the attack tonight. Yakub Mustafa on the left.
Yeah, Atharinos been quite an exciting player this year for Dandy City. But you mentioned Muyet. I think he's been one of the finds of the year. I know it's been difficult at Port Melbourne, but in terms of the league itself, he's had the third most interceptions across the whole NPL. A vital player, and someone who I think even next year, whatever happens with Port Melbourne, will be sought after, because he's got that composure. He's able to tackle one-on-one and also defend. And as I said, very good interceptions or reading of the play.
Well, he'd been a good player in the third tier with North Sunshine Eagles for a few years, and experience in that European experience in the lower leagues in the French football system as well. So I think you can see that in his game, Peter. Interception by Vikertzis. He's been a bright light returning from suspension, and just as we give him a wrap, that through ball is massively overhit.
Yeah, it's John Vikertzis captain today, and knowing his standards, won't be happy with that. But as you can see, the formation for Port Melbourne, 3 at the back. You've got the 2 wing backs, McCloskey and Vakinzis. You've got the 2 midfielders, LeBlanc and Mells. Very important, key, and alternating between each other. And you've got the 2 young strikers, so a very attacking, I suppose, speedy formation and the counter-attacks and transitions today for Port Melbourne based on this.
Well, Dandy City, they don't want to drop the ball here. They need to get themselves back into this game. Here's Yaqub Mustafa. A bright start by Port Melbourne. If you have just joined us, Will Gillingham, the man on the ball, is the scorer so far. Crafty touch by Vikertzis, but he showed too much of it to his opponent, Thomas Giannakopoulos. Giannakopoulos lining up in defensive midfield alongside Danny Kim tonight. He's been deployed this season at fullback, even central defence. Speaking to his old man before the game, Costa said he's even decent in goals as well, so he's got some versatility here. But there's a chance lining up here for Dandy City. Oh, and it's a bit of an air swing, and eventually Port might get this one away. And it was Will Bauer with the opportunity that presented itself, and he couldn't make the most of it.
Yeah, Will Bauer was disappointed there. He had the opportunity. He even had a second chance, second ball, if you call it that, and just couldn't really get his the right positioning and just finish that off. So it'd be quite disappointing. I've noticed that Yaqub Mustafa, who I saw against Avondale, really turned it on that second half. He's coming to a little bit deeper for the ball, and for Dandy City, they really want Mustafa to be closer to the attacking box, because he's a very damaging player.
Well, no doubt we'll see the wingers switch at some point. He usually starts down the right-hand side from the times that I've seen Dandenong City this season. Starting on the left tonight, Atherinos starting on the right. See how long they persist with that setup for. Just have a quick look around the grounds, and this is the only match that has a goal so far. So the 7:30 kickoff between the Knights and Hume City, still 0-0. Oakley Cannons and Altona Magic, 16 minutes gone, also 0-0. So there's permutations for the top 6 and the relegation zone there, as Jamie Latham thought about firing a shot on goal. He's showing some fancy footwork here. It's Jamie Latham looking to cut it back for Yaqub Mustafa, who was working on the penalty spot, and so was Corey Sewell as well. There was numbers in the box there for Dandy City, which has been a feature of their game this season, not afraid to commit numbers forward, and they have benefited from that, really, managing to score 40 goals this campaign, which is not bad for a team sitting in 7th place on the table.
Yeah, this is the difference. This year they've got more attacking options. Yeah, as you mentioned, Mustafa, Latham, Yaqub, they've got a lot more. And also sitting on the bench, we haven't mentioned Kenny Athau, but definitely he's a top scorer. I think 10 goals this year for Dandy City. But it's also a little bit moving to the high press. I noticed they just got into the high press a bit earlier against Port Melbourne. That's what they need to do.
Well, here's the opportunity out wide. Giving chase to the ball from Mells was Owen McCloskey. The number 3 Guernsey there, playing as the left wing back. So it is the same system, as you quite rightly pointed out, Peter, the back 3 tonight, which is Yankolowski, Gillingham and Millet. And it's McCloskey and Vikertzis playing as the wing back. So it does look like that Maxim Gajdovski has persisted with that system that we saw him deploy against Hume City last week. It's been a tough gig for Maxim Gajdovski, coming into the team that was sitting bottom of the table with lots of work to do and not much time to implement his style of play. But I love what he's brought to the NPL Victoria this season, with some of his behind-the-scene looks at training and the cameras set up behind the goals in matches, giving us a second look at some contentious and some highlights, contentious moments and some highlights during the NPL Victoria season, particularly for games involving Port Melbourne Sharks.
Definitely. I mean, I actually saw him on Sharks TV this week, and he mentioned that he's going to give, obviously because of the injuries, some of the under-23s and under-19 players an opportunity, which he's done so today. And looking at counter-attacking today against Dandy, although their start, I have to say, they're pretty much the strings are with Port Melbourne early on.
Well, it might have been a bit of a decoy tactic in that presser there because they've been on the front foot. There's no counter-attacking so far, and Phil Harvinson's done really well here to draw a crowd and be brought down just on the edge of the area. That wasn't too far from being inside the 18-yard box as well, Peter, that challenge on Phil Harvinson, who, yeah, carried the ball really well at the Dandenong City goal there.
The other thing he said was he's going to defend lower, and doesn't look like they're defending lower. So fascinating. Is that mine? I'll let you get on with the set piece.
All right, well, Matt Murram is organising his wall. He's already had to pick the ball out of his net once. A goal by Will Gillingham. It's floated in by Mal's, and it's an easy ball. Good claim that time by Murram, putting his name on it and wrapping the mitts around it. Frustration from the Dandenong City bench that we can hear to our left. Here's Giannakopoulos. Chesnick. Now Latham trying to get himself, put his imprint on this fixture. Yaqub Mustafa, who has now switched across to that right-hand side. Latham now. Good pressing again. Good pressure on the ball from the Sharks. Inaba. That's a good touch by Will Bauer. Bauer giving chase. Putting Laban under pressure. Latham now. Had Giannakopoulos at the top of the box. Bauer, can he get the cross in early? It's sliced away by Gillingham. Got enough of it, though, to clear the danger, and they've got the decision going their way over near the far side. You can see the pitch behind the main pitch here now has been updated. A really good facility for the players to warm up. There's also a synthetic pitch as well, just off camera behind our broadcast position, just to our left as well. So the facility has come a long way during the season this year, Peter.
It has. It's one of the better. I mean, obviously, it's very centrally located in Melbourne as well. Actually, it's funny because during the week I went to the Western United facility out in Tarneet, and that was fascinating facility, actually. I've never been there before, I have to admittingly, but similar to this, quite a few side pitches, obviously the big grandstand. Just people say it's a bit far away, but we need that kind of infrastructure. And even here in Geelong now, they're thinking of a regional centre there. So it's very important because one of the issues with football in Melbourne, so many people playing, girls, boys, men, women, everybody. We need more pitches, we need more facilities.
Absolutely. Well, that regional facility in Geelong, it's no understatement to say that it's well and truly overdue. So hopefully that is something that is coming into the pipeline rather than just a thought bubble or any kind of political football going forward, because it'd be good to see a similar facility. Probably that would be a good fit, actually, a similar facility to that Western United facility out there on the outskirts of the Wyndham Council region. It's in Geelong as well. Something similar would be very useful here, as we're seeing another opportunity here for Port Melbourne. Fizzed across. The flag's up, though. It's not going to count. It was turned home by Phil Harvinson. Didn't time his run.
I think if Harbison left that and didn't sort of get in the line with the keeper, that would have been, because I don't think the keeper could have stopped that with McCloskey. Been unlucky there, but Port starting very sprightly early on. I noticed that you mentioned Giannakopoulos trying to mark Mal's because he knows the danger he poses with his progressive runs and balls. But yeah, great start by Port Melbourne. Bit unlucky, but it was offside.
Another opportunity here. Murram out of his goal. It's the clearance. Finds Giannakopoulos as well. Followed by Veli Chesnick. Player who'll know the surrounds here very well. He played some great football playing as one of the 2-10s behind Chris Duggan here under Adam Piddick. Him alongside Luca Tavir with George Mell sitting in behind. That was a formidable attacking prong that was for Port Melbourne only a couple of years ago, really. It's what a difference a couple of years makes as they find themselves sitting second bottom tonight, but they are looking at moving up, at least on the live ladder, leading 1-0 here through Will Gillingham. Still the only goal looking around the grounds. It's still 0-0 between the Knights and Hume, and 0-0 between the Cannons and the Magic. Steve Curtin and Peter Paleologus with you. NPL men's action, Friday night football, round 24 of the competition. Port Melbourne putting in a good shift so far. Here's Latham. Forward by Atherinos.
You mentioned Cessnick. I did do some research, some analytics, mainly Y-Scout, and he's top 3 in terms of accurate passes and crosses. So, he's very well regarded, and someone who is playing in this position not as is more of an attacking player, I would say, but really someone who's very neat and tight. And you can see that with those percentages in terms of his accuracy with his passing and crossing.
He's someone who must have come very close to getting a gig in an A-League system at some point. He's had opportunities playing football in the Netherlands as well, a good technical country. He has a second nationality, Slovenian, I believe, as well. A good technical player.
Very good technical player. And this is the debate that actually just came out recently, Steve, with the Australian Cup. I've got a bit of an injury here. But in terms of, we saw, Apia, obviously it was a weak in Melbourne City team. We saw Kingsway Olympic with, I would say Melbourne Victory had more senior players in that Australia Cup match. But the debate I've been having with a lot of, I would say, agents and scouts and people that I know, that some of these A-League players are not far off and should be in the A-League. You just mentioned the point, and I'm concur with that, whether it's from New South Wales, whether it's from Victoria. And one thing is going to be interesting, I would say, Apia are playing Avondale in the Cup. As we know, 2 of the better teams.
Yeah.
Avondale in terms of their players, and Apia in terms of what they're offering. So that's going to be I actually think that's the best game in the next round of the Australia Cup. Well, my point is a lot of these players can step up to the A-League. It's opportunity, timing, luck, age, various factors, but we've got some very good players here.
I've just seen Tom Giannakopoulos has come over for a drink. He's also changed the boot, so the track is a little harder than it might look as well. He's switched from the screw-ins, the metal studs, to the mouldeds as well. So a little gear change there, a little pit stop for Tom Giannakopoulos. And looks like we're up and running again for 11 players on both sides after the injury delay. And it's going to be fascinating, Peter, over the coming months with the National Second Division, as well as the Australia Cup, the platform that's going to give to players and what that might present. It's an unknown quantity for me. I really don't know the way it's going to play out, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, there was a media release recently, and a lot of our viewers or listeners would probably be aware of that, the competition for the Australian Championship is called, with the 8 second division nominated teams plus 8 champions or other teams, is going ahead probably for 2 years. A lot of people saw that as maybe the National Second Division not going ahead, but just an interim championship. You don't know how to read it. We need a platform for these players, and we need a platform. A second division is, required. There's a lot of talent that's not getting exposed, and that's what the change needed. But watch your space.
Here's Latham. Bit of space for Corey Sewell. Giannakopoulos now in the moulded studs. Chesnick. Gurdic has his clearance charged down by Brown, who's fighting and scrapping for the ball. And he's a bit unlucky there. He's adjudged to have given away the free kick. Latham and Mustafa combine. Sewell. Little triangles opening up here. Oh, the ball from Sewell was not on point.
Sewell will be disappointed with that. He's reinvented himself this year, more as a left-sided, but he was more of a central defender for me. But really, he's had the opportunity and made it his own on the left side. And the good thing about Corey Sewell, he's also got an attacking mindset, which has helped Dandy City this season. But he'd be very disappointed with that ball.
Well, we've seen it. He basically, I would say for me, he pioneered the tactic of the modern-day tactic of the floating fullback when he was at the Melbourne Knights a couple of seasons ago, where he would come in and become an extra midfielder when Ben Kahn was in charge, and the Knights were playing some really good football. Found themselves making it all the way to the NPL Victoria finals in 2023. Won't be the case this year. They are locked 0-0 still, though, the Knights, at in their fixture against Hume City, which one kicked off a little earlier than here, so maybe half-time by now. So approaching the 30-minute mark here. Unexpected 1-0 lead to Port Melbourne. Here's Riyad Muyet. You can pick him out in the gloves. He's been charged with causing the infringement there after a nice dribble, but maybe taking a slightly too heavy touch. Here's Will Bauer. Will he try and find space for the shot? Gets it out of his feet. Bauer floats it across to the back post area. They're queuing up, and it's hooked out of play, and it's a good bit of defending by Owen McCloskey.
Yeah, Bauer deciding to go individually there. He had probably Mustafa with the quick ball. Decided not to. Pivoted wide and then put the cross in. Dangerous cross, but there's no one there. But one of the few set pieces now for Dandy City. They've really got to get back into this game because as the time flies, 1-0, they've got a strong run for the next couple of games. So really they need a result here.
It's driven in this time, flicked on by Sewell. Inaba at the back post. He scored last week. Can he do it again today? Inaba. He's done it again. Dandenong City are right back in it. And it's Gaku Inaba, who's got a knack for scoring goals in the latter part of the season. He was left in too much space and time. The flick on by Sewell. Good driven corner by Latham as well. And Dandenong City restore parity at JL Murphy.
I spoke a little bit too early. Here you go. And a fantastic shot. I think Romic will be disappointed with that. I saw maybe could have kept that out, but Inaba just unmarked. Great shot. And really the power just powered it in. And Dandy City have got one option. They've got players who can score from the back line as well. And that's something that's been in their season. So having those options, not just relying on their forwards, gives them at any time a second ball, a pass, an opportunity to score.
Well, it didn't bring a huge roar from the travelling fans who are modest in their numbers here, but everyone tuning in on the stream of a Dandenong City Persuasion will be relieved to see that one go in, as was the case down there in the technical area for Bill Theodoropoulos, the acting head coach in the absence of Nick Tolios, who's pacing around the penalty area. It looks pretty tense down there still, but at least they've got things back onto back to 1-1 here. Corey Sewell with the long throw, flicked on by Yagub Mustafa. Cut out well by Anthony Laban. Gillingham, he's just worried out of it. And it's forward by Bauer. And this is Atharinos, the fleet-footed winger. His pass was cut out well there again that time by Yankolowski. Free kick's going to go the way of the Sharks, and they can just take a moment to slow things down here perhaps.
Yeah, Atharinos, the young gun this year. Exciting player, 4 goals, I believe, and just really playing a very good season and making it his own with his runs. And someone who's really added something this year to Dandy City.
Inaba under pressure. It's away by Marum. Puts it right out to the Laurie Schwab press room. Bit of back chat between the defenders and Marum too. Interesting selection, Marum, getting the opportunity to be holding his spot in the starting 11 with the experience figure of Piers Clark. Plenty of NPL experience for Piers Clark, who's consigned to the bench. Just hear the Seagulls have landed here through the effects mics at JL Murphy. Not quite in the same numbers that they do at Amy Park during a Melbourne City A-League fixture, but nonetheless they have arrived from their home down near Station Pier. I think they've settled in for the season, for the evening, should I say. Atharinos now. Jinx inside. Atharinos, it was blocked by Gillingham. And it was a good block too, because it would have been heading towards that far post. It might have been an awkward one there for the goalkeeper, Luka Romic. Luka Romic being given the opportunity. They started with Alex Condolian in the starting 11 earlier in the season, but Luka Romic has made that spot his own. And another player with experience in Europe in the lower leagues of Croatia, Peter.
Yes, it's interesting to talk about Romic and Condolian. Condolian was earlier on in the season one of the top shot stoppers, and how it changes. The same thing with Dandy City. I was looking at Piers Clark. In terms of long passes, at one stage he had the 3rd most long passes in the NPL with his long range kick to get to the forwards. And now he's not a starter, so just fascinating how things swing. But with goalkeepers, that's what happens.
Here's a chance for Bauer, who's able to receive with his back to goal and turn in plenty of space on the edge of the area. And they're going to win themselves a corner kick out of it. So, Will Bauer showing too much space and time there for me. The pressure's been really hot from Port Melbourne in the opening 20-25 minutes. But I think you can just feel, Peter, the Dandenong City boys are getting right back into it now.
They are. A little bit more pressure up front. They're trying to mix it up. You see Corey Sewell now getting more into the box. Bauer switching left, a little bit of right. Kim pushing up a little bit. And Inaba right at the back. He's waiting and he's unmarked.
Well, surely they won't allow it to happen again, but the ball comes into the back post area. Valley Chesnick trying to bring it under his spell. It bounced awkwardly. And it's just about cleared by McCloskey. Owen McCloskey, the 20-year-old, coming across from Melbourne Victory's academy system after previously being at George Cross. A few players with George Cross experience in the lineup for Port Melbourne. Hayden Brown, another one. Atherinos jinks onto his right once again into the back post area, looking for Bauer. And they're going to concede another corner kick here, and this is where they have been dangerous so far, Dandenong City.
Yes, set pieces, looking for the second ball. This is where they sort of create those opportunities. But you mentioned George Cross could be in the NPL next year. Steve, looking good. I think in second or third, then Bentley, and of course Melbourne City. All those three teams vying for a spot in the NPL next year. So now we're going to see some powerhouses coming up.
Speaking of facilities as well earlier, Peter, we'll just come back to that one as well. It's drilled in low. Giannakopoulos is at the front post. It stays in play. Floated back in. Oh, Yagoub Mustafa looked like he was about to launch onto it. And launching away there is Valley Chesnick looking to score against his old team, but that would only be an over in Gaelic footy.
I spoke earlier about Chesnick being an accurate player, accurate passing. We're disappointed in that. But you can see what Dandy City are trying to do. Giannakopoulos, Inaba, Sewell all getting in there to create the opportunity, looking for that set piece. And then you've got players just around that box for the second ball. And it's only a matter of time because I don't see any man marking. It's more zonal by Port Melbourne, especially at the set pieces. And you can be vulnerable with that.
Inside 10 minutes till half-time. This match, it wasn't one of the ones that jumped off the fixture card leading into round 24. It's well and truly alive with permutations for the top six and survival as well at the moment. Locked at 1-1. 2 goals from central defenders, Will Gillingham and Gaku Inaba, that sees the sides all square for the moment. But will that be the score leading into half-time? Here's Valley Chesnick trying to stamp his imprint on this one. It's a nice run. He had Yagoub Mustafa on his right. He couldn't quite find him. Square ball from Danny Kim. Giannakopoulos, Latham, Atherinos and Bauer. Good little combination between those two. They have a really good understanding in the final third. Do those two Port Melbourne attackers. Here's Vikertzis. Oh, he was brought down late. Advantage is the call from Giannis Isis. Here's Aidan Brown. He's got Corey Sewell to beat. First time by Vikertzis, who didn't really get a good piece of that, and it was cut off by Giannakopoulos, and his pass was a little bit awkward as well. So it's all a bit scrappy in the latter stages of this first half, and it's probably symptomatic of the pressure and intensity that's been out there, particularly in the opening 20-25 minutes.
Yes, Port Melbourne first 15-20 minutes, probably dictating play. You've got Dandy City coming back in and getting the equaliser. But a draw's not good enough for both these teams. They both need a win for different purposes, of course. One to try to avoid relegation, and the other one to make the top six. So we're going to see a lot more attacking from both, I expect, because they both need this result.
Absolutely spot on, Peter. It's a good header there from really well timed. Chesnick out in front of the social rooms on the far side. It's a modest but pleasant boutique facility. You can sit in there behind glass, a lot of memorabilia. Souvlaki's still one of the best going around.
I heard a debate during the week about who's got the best food in the NPL. And yeah, that's important, especially, for NPL football. People come for the experience, and one of them is that genuine food experience which you get in a lot of different venues. I won't go through them, clubs, but it's it's that sort of. People talk about the Conference League or League Two and League One, and in England, and similar here. You look at sort of that granular, experience, and that's what you get in the NPL, and good football as well.
And no doubt as well, Peter, that it's going to be a big focus of the National Second Division, that clubs have got to do something extra to attract different fans and make the match day experience quality. So a good range, a lot of clubs provide a good range of food, drink, and also will maybe look to provide a wider range to get people in and maybe improve spectator facilities, comfort level, that sort of thing. Match day atmosphere.
Yeah, that's good. And one interesting thing about this, with this Conference Championship, Australian Champions sort of semi-second division, will there be a transfer window? Will other NPL players be allowed to play for the 3-4, say, Victorian select clubs? Or will they not? And that's the interesting one. Like we had the FIFA Club Championship where they had an early window, so those teams can sign extra players. We will see some of the players from here join clubs in the National Second Division or the Australian Championship. That's going to be interesting. I don't know.
Well, that question will remain. Latham is going to keep running forward here. This is a very enterprising run from Jamie Latham. Eventually, they get the numbers back behind the ball, and the band does the jockeying to force him back. Chesnick floats it in, and lining up is Mustafa, who sliced it over the crossbar from almost point-blank range. Well, they were queuing up there. Bauer was in there. Mustafa was in there. A really good run by Valley Chesnick coming from that deep right-back position. Floated in the cross, and Yagub Mustafa has done everything but score there, slicing it over the top. He's only got 2 in NPL Victoria this season. That probably should have been his 3rd.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot from Latham today. Diego Cuba, who's been, I suppose, the player with most assists, especially in the 90 minutes for Dandy City, not on the pitch. I believe he's on the bench, but Latham's sort of taken that role, that creativity. Him and Mustafa have been given a bit of free license in order to, I see Mustafa's coming on this side now to receive the ball, or I should say the throw-in. But yeah, Latham's really got the, as you can see here, got the individual license to really try to create something for Dandy City.
Yeah, he's had a great season, has Jamie Latham, just about being the considerations for the NPL Victoria team of the season. It's really hard to get in that number 10 role that he plays ahead of Joe Guest, who's had another fantastic campaign as the Englishman. But definitely extended squad contention for me, Jamie Latham. Excellent campaign.
Yeah, speaking of Team of the Week, I think Valley Cessnick was in the Team of the Week for the last round, so at least one player there. But you're right, Latham has been a live wire, if I can use that term, and really, up and down, creating, playing false 9, 10, coming as a 6. So really adding that extra dimension for Dandy City's finals campaign if they can get there.
So much running power. His GPS levels must be off the charts. Here's Valley Chesnick looking to play it out wide for Will Bauer, who interchanged positions from the number 9, which he's been lining up into the wide area. It looks like he has moved out to the right, and Yagub Mustafa is playing through the middle there. So the front 3 for Dandy City really shuffling it around, shuffling the cards. We're getting ready for the team talk from the acting coach, Bill Theodoropoulos, and I wonder if there'll be a phone call as well from Nick Tolios just to impart some information. We'll keep an eye out. It's just to our left there, Bill Theodoropoulos, if he's going to reach for the phone and get any instructional advice from over on the Mediterranean coast.
I've never heard that. Maybe you're right. They go into the change room and it goes on Zoom or a conference call. I don't know. I'm speculating, of course. But you may be right, Steve. No one's ever raised that in any of the commentaries. And, yeah, why not?
It could happen these days.
The technology we've got is very easy. Just easy Zoom check-in. Just, strategize, change formation, whatever it is. You can easily be done straight from Zoom. So, yeah, that's... And, we've seen that, we talked about Port Melbourne, they've been an innovative team, they've brought in analytics, etc. Why not?
Absolutely. Well, looking over to our left in the Dandy City technical area, it definitely looks as though Bill Theodoropoulos is just looking a little bit less stressed with the way his team has been playing in the last 20 minutes or so. Johnny Vikertzis was almost tunnelled by Corey Sewell there, but it's going to be a Dandy City throw. Also, assistant coach Tommy Gavron was pacing about as well, but he's sitting down and relaxing a bit more now. It might be that his foot's hurting a little bit, not too sure, but they do look a little bit stressed a little bit less stressed on the Dandy City bench at the moment as their team is in attack here again through Atherinos, who fires it across the face of the goal. There was no one at home, so it can be easily picked up here by Johnny Vikertzis. He just elects to go route one again. Trying to flick it on was Harbinson. It does look like Harbinson and Brown are playing in that two up top system, Peter.
Yes, they are. And they're alternating a little bit. Brown's coming a little bit more now to the left, where Harbinson sort of started there. But good to see two young strikers. We don't have that many young strikers in the NPL. And Port Melbourne, I mentioned earlier, the second youngest team after Melbourne Victory, of course, being their under 21s or 23s. But really, good to see two young strikers in the NPL and trying to create an opportunity and be part of the senior squad and make an impact.
That's right. Harbinson Ali, 19 years of age. Aidan Brown, also 19 years of age. So a couple of teenagers up top. Something we might see. We might see more of that with the rules coming in for next season as well, Peter.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a change. And we also have seen the big trend, we've discussed this, Steve, that a lot of academy players from Melbourne Victory, Western, and of course Melbourne City have come into the NPL for opportunities because maybe there wasn't a pathway in the A-League. There never is. There's never enough positions. And a lot of those young players are coming through into these NPL teams and making an impact. But also some of the NPL teams giving their younger players an opportunity, and that's great to see. I know Port Melbourne got injuries. You're missing very key players, especially Liston Diaz, probably their dynamite forward, but this is what it's about. Take your opportunity, anything can happen.
Well, you've got to concentrate here because we're into added time in this first half. The fourth official, Calvin K. Berg, has indicated that there will be a minimum of 2 minutes added on, and it's a good opportunity here in the shadows of halftime for Latham, the set-piece specialist, to pick out Yagub Mustafa. Out wide is Atherinos, floats it into the back post area. Romic got a hand to it. It falls to Valley Sesnik. It's off the post. Well, he couldn't have come closer to scoring there, Valley Sesnik. And it's still alive here. Sewell in Arbor. Can they clear this one away? Oh, they're going to fall the ball out here to Corey Sewell again. So the waves of attack continue. Yagub Mustafa all the way back to Danny Kim. He's got space and time to deliver the cross, but it's too close to Luka Romic, who was able to claim that one easily and try and put Port Melbourne back into attack quickly. He might have been better just to take some time off the clock there because they're going to come here again through Atherinos. One way, then the other. Latham. It's off Sesnik to Sewell. It was accidental, but it still works. Here's Yagub Mustafa looking to find some more function and movement in the box. Latham's in space. He might be able to try the shot here, but his control let him down. It just bobbled a touch, I fancy, and Mel's closed down the shooting opportunity. Danny Kim in a bit of space. Final seconds of the first half. 2 minutes of additional time has almost evaporated here. The chance is repelled by Gillingham, who opened the scoring of this one on 6 minutes, and that might do us for half-time. At JL Murphy Reserve, we're locked at 1-1. This match with high stakes for both teams. Will Gillingham scoring from the second ball in a set-piece situation, the central defender banging home and on 6 minutes, and it was a similar goal as well on 30 minutes for Gaku and Arba, the two central defenders, both on the score sheet. A final word on the first half from you, Peter Paleologus.
Yeah, both teams had opportunities. We had that offside goal, of course, there by Port Melbourne in that first 20 minutes. Post there by Sesnik, evenly poised. Both teams have a lot to play for this second half. Dandy City have come back.
Let's go!
Happens is to join us after the break, so put the kettle on, make yourself comfortable, and you can join us with myself, Steve Curtin, and Peter Paleologus after this break. We're at half-time at JL Murphy. We're locked at 1-1 between the Port Melbourne Sharks and Dandenong City. We'll be back after this short break.
Who's in the Duckling Cup?
Welcome back to JL Murphy Reserve. It is locked at 1-1 in this NPL Victoria Friday night football round 24 clash. It's crunch time in the season, and it's been a crunch first half too. Will Gillingham opening the score on 6 minutes. Central defender firing home from the edge of the 6-yard box after a corner kick couldn't be cleared by Dandy City, and then it was Gaku Inaba also getting on the end of an opportunity resulting from a second ball from a corner kick on 30 minutes. We're locked at 1-1, and we'll keep an eye on those results around the grounds as well, because the permutations for both of these sides are well and truly live with those other matches going on with Hume City, who sit in 6th place at the moment. And can Dandy City get another goal here and maybe jump into 6th on the table tonight? Well, that'll remain to be seen. Port Melbourne starting this one brightly, so what can they offer? Can they start equally as brightly in the second 45? Steve Curtin with you alongside me. Big welcome back to the broadcast position for the second 45, Peter Paleologus.
Yes, good to be here. This game's finally posed. I would say both teams need a result. I think Hume's winning 1-0 at the Knights. Might need an update on that, but Dandy City need a win, and so do Port Melbourne. They can't afford to not get the 3 points, so we're going to see probably a very attacking second half from both teams. Looking forward to it. Steve?
Well, there's no changes at half-time, and we can confirm that the Knights have actually scored. The Knights have scored at Summer Street, and it is 1-1 between the Knights and Hume City. There's a few spectators who have raised a few eyebrows just as I've said that, within earshot as well.
Yes, Dandy City will be looking at that. Maybe it's not so much Port Melbourne, but Dandy City will be looking at that result. They need results to go their way, and they need 3 wins. And they're playing, obviously, Port Melbourne, but they're playing the Knights and also Victory, so the bottom 3 teams. But they've got to keep on winning, but they also need a result against Hume that goes their way.
So that live ladder sees Dandy City still, as you were, 1 point behind Hume City. They have a superior goal difference, though, so they're not too far away. And meanwhile, Port Melbourne on a live ladder move up with onto 16 points, chasing Altona Magic, who trail out at Jacket Reserve by a goal to 0. So that's all the permutations there. Brody Boyce with the goal for the Cannons on 45 minutes. It was the late action at Summer Street. It was Lloyd Isgrove on 80 minutes for Hume City to open the scoring. What looked like a winner, but it was AJ Inia, the mid-season signing, returning to the Melbourne Knights, scoring only 4 minutes later. So in stoppage time there, it is 1-1 between the Knights and Hume City. So a lot of eyeballs on that one. Inaba with the challenge. It was a strong challenge. Play on's the call. Trying to do our best to keep our eyes on the action in the middle here as well at Port Melbourne, and it's a decision going the way here of the Sharks.
Yes, Vakitis, John, he collided there, probably not a foul, but yes, a lively start from Port Melbourne, showing there that Laban's trying to take control early on with the midfield. You've got George Mells as well, and Vakitis getting involved. He faded in that first half, I should say, but it's really starting very lively.
If you're a fan of the VPL 1 Northern Suburbs derby tonight, it looks like it's going to end scoreless between Brunswick City and Northcote City. That match is in second half stoppage time. Here's Laban. Under pressure from Latham. And so much pressure that it's been adjudged a free kick. Now Zizis giving the Sharks the opportunity to take a reprieve here. And the yellow card is out of the pocket as well for Jamie Latham. I would say that was for the back chat that occurred after the foul was blown up against him.
Yes, Latham will be disappointed there. You know, accumulating yellow cards this time of the season. Not good, but yeah, probably I would say back chat, or unless it was a foul. I didn't see much of a foul that was serious enough with yellow cards. But it's quite interesting with Dandy City. They're they're starting a little bit slower in this second half, and really you've got to get a little bit more, the tempo, fasten the ball a little bit, but here we go.
Oh, Latham was in a really good pocket of space there, but he just wandered beyond the last man of that Port Melbourne back three. And he was right in front of the assistant referee there, Thomas Rushton, so there was no getting away with it. Romic this time on the right foot. His last clearance with his left, so he's showing his dexterity out there on that relayed bit of turf in the 18-yard box at the northern end of the venue. And we've got a full time. That is full time between the Knights and Hume City. So that finishes 1-1. So the Knights pick up a point. There's an opportunity here for the Sharks at the other end, and it's well played by Murray. He was out bravely. And the on-rushing Phil Harbinson shown a yard of pace there too. He was bearing down. Couldn't get a touch on the football before the on-rushing Matt Murray was out off his line really quickly to thwart the opportunity.
Yeah, Matt Murray's really impressed me. The couple of games I've seen him really so sure hands and confidence and allocating the ball. But it's good to see that Dandy City now. It's interesting with Dandy City that in terms of shots, they'll be very happy with the result that's happened with Hume and Melbourne Knights. But they've had the third most shots in the NPL, so they're a very attacking team. We haven't seen that many shots in this game from them, a few set pieces, so it'd be interesting thing if they change that the second half, because they do take a lot of shots as a team in the NPL.
Here's Latham. He's an absolute terrier. He's going to pick up the ball again here after he lost it the first time and find Atharinos. Couple of bodies in the middle. Mustafa is one of them, and it might fall for Yagub Mustafa, but it's cleared away really well there again by Oliver Yankolovsky, who's put in a good shift tonight. Sewell comes in tries to shoot on the right. Giannakopoulos. Atharinos, a half volley right in front of the goalkeeper, and he picked it up on the bounce well.
Atharinos, dangerous player around the box, very mobile, very nippy, very dangerous. Is quite pulsating player, and a good opportunity there. Took the shot. But that's the intention that Dandy City got to, now that they know that the other result, they've got to show, they've got to get in early and try to get that next goal. But Jankolowski's been the silent achiever, very strong, very underestimated, don't hear much about him, but somebody who really is very steady in defence and reads the play very well.
Yeah, Yankolowski, 21 years of age. Haven't really talked about him a lot this year. He was at Mill Park last season in State League 2 Northwest, so he must have been a talent at that level, given what we've seen from him today. And he's playing really well under Maxim Gajdowski, who's getting the best out of this group of young players that he's fielded tonight. As you said, Peter, one of the younger squads going around in NPL football anywhere in the country, this Port Melbourne side at the moment. We saw, mentioned the star man, Liston Diaz. I saw him wandering around the social rooms on the far side. He's moving okay, but obviously not quite well enough to feature in this game. And speaking of moving well, as Jamie Latham is charging through the middle of J.L. Murphy Reserve, he finds Will Bauer. He's got support in the form of Corey Sewell, who just fluffed his pass a little bit, but it rebounded to him nicely. And Giannakopoulos, one foot, then the other, and the shot's off the frame. Oh, it looked like it was going over, and it dipped at the last minute. Romic was beaten, and the midfielder who changed out of those screw-in boots at halftime to the moulded soles, jinked from the right foot back
to the NPL. He's actually quite a versatile player. He's got some attacking attributes. Good pass, as you can see there.
Here's Atharinos squaring the ball for Jamie Latham. Oh, and it didn't have the sting on the shot that it needed, and it just kind of lollipopped up to Romic, who makes another save. And unfortunately, as far as Dandy City fans are concerned, it was a regulation save in the end for the shot stopper.
Yeah, just going back to Giannakopoulos, plays as a 6, got the height, can play as centre-back, but also can play a little bit as an 8. He's got the repertoire, got a good pass, and he gets forward as well. So very versatile player, and it's someone that's really added something, a dimension, I would say, really improving every season to Dandy City.
Well, here's McCloskey charging forward. He finds Harbinson. McCloskey again, receiving from Miette. It's Trycheski. Trycheski in the gloves. Mells. Headed by Stesnik. Trocheski loses out eventually, and Danny City are going to come forward here. Pass from Giannakopoulos is cut out. We're talking about his boot change in the first half, confirmed by his old man Costa that the screw-in boots that he was wearing in the opening minutes were brand new, so they needed a bit more breaking in, so hence the boot change midway through that first half for Thomas Giannakopoulos. But it's an interesting story. You mentioned almost going to Estonia. You don't see too many Australian players in the Baltic states, Peter.
Yeah, I think Amir Abdallah might have been the other one.
Oh, what a save by Romic there. Is at full stretch to deny the opportunity from Will Bauer there. It was from well outside the box, and it interrupts what was otherwise a good story coming from Peter Paleologos about players in the Baltics.
Well, it's getting there. They're trending. I mean, the Lithuanian League, Estonian and Latvian leagues are not just from Australia, but from Africa, even South America, players looking for an opportunity into Europe. And those leagues are very similar to the style of the Australian leagues, NPL or A-League. So it's an entry point, and they're not as strict with the passports.
Interesting to keep an eye on developments in the Baltic football competitions. As the ball comes into the 6-yard box, it's punched away by Romic. It's a crowded penalty area. Romic does enough in the end, and Latham's going to go all the way back to Maram. So two young goalkeepers have both been busy tonight. Entertaining clash between two good young teams in NPL Victoria, and some good players in this Port Melbourne team, despite their league position in the bottom three. It's just a matter of how much longer they will be able to retain their top flight status. It may only be another couple of games after this one. They've been in the top tier of Victorian football for 13 years, which predates the NPL competition itself, since they were promoted from the old State League 1 in 2012. Pressure here is coming from Harbinson. Up the field by Maram. It's all Route 1 stuff this time. Good header by Gillingham, the big man. I'll play Giannakopoulos. The Kurtzis had to show bravery there. It's forward by Gerdich. Header by Gillingham. So the central defenders are pinging the ball from one end of the pitch to the other at the moment. It's not football purist stuff at the moment, but it's probably a byproduct of the intensity that we've seen again in the opening minutes of this second 45. Play goes on here. Giannakopoulos, Danny Kim, good combination between the two holding midfielders, and they release the number 10 here in Jamie Latham. Looking for space. He's got Bauer to his right. He puts it out in front of him, sets him a task, and it's just about out of play in front of the Mill Park Service Centre signage there. And I wonder if that business has anything to do with the fact that there has been so many players come from Mill Park in State League 2 last season to J.L. Murphy Reserve this season, if there's a connection there.
There might be a pathway or a pipeline connection. I mean, we see that in a lot of... But it's surprising. A lot of State League players who are underestimated do come into the NPL, especially if they've got experience, especially if they've got a lot of attacking and scoring quite a few goals, and that's what you want. You want to be able to build those pathways up. The problem is, for me, and I'm here to obviously the special comments, but I will say we don't see enough Victorian NPL players coming to the A-League. It's been an issue for a very, very long time. I will mention one thing. Danny Kim's been a little bit quiet. We haven't mentioned much of him. We saw the header there. We created the opportunity, but I think he needs a little bit more intensity, and obviously being the captain, a little bit more leadership, a bit of urgency for the team, because with that result with Hume, they need the result now. They need the win.
Yeah, Danny Kim recently bringing up 100 games in NPL Victoria for the central midfield, originally from New South Wales. Hasn't scored this season. Not that that's necessarily his function in the team. He scored once last year. So just a bit of a lull in this one, and we've almost played 15 minutes in the second half. It's going to be a matter of who wants it more, and look to the benches to see if there's going to be any changes made by their respective coaches. It's a very, very youthful bench for Maxim Gajdoski. He cuts a striking figure on the touchline, but he's very subdued. He doesn't do a lot of ranting and raving, particularly when we're used to the era of Adam Pittock being the coach here, when we would hear all of his instructions from the broadcast position.
That's true, but you mentioned Port Melbourne being in the NPL for a long time and always known for a good brand of football. Something that was always a little bit easy on the eye. And today, this could be, obviously the result doesn't go their way, they could be in very much danger of relegation, but they've always added that value and created a lot of players which other clubs have always been able to try to recruit. So always a ground in launching players, but also playing a good brand of football over the years.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They've made a big contribution to Victorian football with their top flight team over that period of the last 12 years, but also their youth development pathway at a venue that is nice and close to the city centre here. That's one of the reasons why George Mells was keen to rejoin. He enjoyed his time at South because he was so close to the venue, and he's also, if you're close to South, you're also close to J.R. Murphy Reserve as well, of course. Those two clubs are only a stone's throw away from each other, and we're going to see the first change of the evening, and it's time for the injection of Kenny Athu, player with 9 goals in NPL Victoria and 2 in the Cup competition this season. Time gets away from you. He's turning 33 next Tuesday. Can you believe that, Peter?
Well, yeah, I mean, time flies for all of us, I would say, but I remember Kenny in the A-League, if you remember. It's, scoring a lot of goals in the NPL. One of the few players that got straight in, because back then, I don't think Australia had that many strikers, and but he's important for the, aerial duels, and he's going to add a dimension here, because we know that Dandy City...
Well, they are queuing up here, and he was in prime position to get on the end of that cross, had not been intercepted by a Port Melbourne head on the way into the 6-yard box. So, as you say, Peter, he really shakes it up with playing more of a mosquito fleet front three. They now have the aerial opportunity to fire balls in and ask some questions in the air of young Romich in goal and the back three for the Sharks.
Yeah, 10 goals. I think it's 10 goals this year for Kenny Athu, but also... Dandy City are third in aerial duels, so they do like it in the air. They do like that, and Kenny adds to that. So that's trying to maybe a tactical change in order to get that goal that they really need.
Oh, it's fired again by Bauer, and not for the first time tonight. Dandy City wasting an opportunity, firing over the bar. So a little bit more patience required, perhaps, from some of the players in there, attacking 3 or 4 out there in their 11 at the moment, but. It was Atharinos, the player who was sacrificed for the opportunity to get King Kenny in there. So King Kenny playing through the middle. Mustafa moving out to the right. And out on the left, it's going to be Bauer operating the left-hand side. Versatile front three, those players that can really play in any position in the front three. Port Melbourne just having a bit of trouble clearing their lines at the moment. Certainly not playing. There's no breeze here to speak of. That kick from Romich swung out of play like as if he was kicking it into a 3-goal breeze down at the VFL Port Melbourne, the LTAC Oval down the road, but it was just the trajectory of the kick, Peter.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a missed kick, and it's just a little bit what we call strayed the kick. But it's a little bit of a change here. I would say that they're pushing a little bit up, a bit more of a higher block. A bit more pressure towards Port Melbourne. Dandy City pushing up a little bit. Nicopolis and Kim, you can see they're trying to get more into the attacking it to link up with Latham, because it's right now they do need that second goal, so they've got to show a little bit more in attack, and I can tell the tactical changes are aimed at that.
Well, the Sharks are yet to make a change. As we said, it's a very youthful-looking bench for Maxim Gajdoski. With the young substitute goalkeeper Nicholas Skocic. Also players that haven't debuted at this level yet, including Levi Leister, Lachlan Maguire, and Lucas Pontianius. And the whistle's gone here. And they have won themselves a free kick in a promising place. And the yellow card is out of the pocket from Giannis Isis for Veli Chesnik. So after not being able to get themselves out of their own half for quite a while, they are going to get a chance, a good look here from the set-piece opportunities. We catch this one again on the replay screen. The cynical foul on Trajewski from Veli Cesnik. Interesting career trajectory for Veli Cesnik, who finds himself lining up as a right back, and he was playing as one of those 2-10s when he was here, playing as a Sharks player a couple of seasons ago.
And that was one of the seasons they were playing fantastic football, if you recall. That was very attacking and threat to any team. Although they didn't obviously go on to the championship, but they were always very dangerous and up there, just couldn't finish it off. But here's an opportunity with this set piece. You can tell that it's Port Melbourne. They're still in this, and they, if they get the goal here, it can be a lot of pressure on Dandy City. But here we go. I think it's McCloskey taking it.
Well, the camera is up on the fixing behind the post here, and if this one goes in, this one will be going on to the Instagram reels from coach Maxim Godowski. And most importantly, it will propel the Sharks further away from their relegation fears if they're able to get themselves a go-ahead goal here. It's going to be McCloskey standing over it with the left foot. It's a little bit shallow, the delivery, and it's headed away easily by King Kenny. And the shot from distance from Vikertzis, he absolutely leathered that one, but it was unsuccessful in finding the fencing behind Matt Marham's goal. Probably a bit disappointing there, the set-piece delivery from McCloskey, Peter. He had a golden opportunity to create something there for the Sharks, and really didn't give his attackers much.
No, he didn't. And not even a chance for a second ball, because George Mells was just outside the box waiting for that. If there's any ricochet ready for... We know that George Mells got a very powerful shot, but not even that would happen. So a bit disappointing. And, you're not going to maybe not get that many opportunities, so you've got to make the most of those.
So around the grounds, it is still 1-0 to the Cannons against the Magic, which sees that gap for the Sharks on the live ladder at the moment. 5 points, and of course, it is the Sharks against the Magic next week. If the Sharks can somehow get a win here, or make that one a very spicy encounter. They're trying to get the ball forward here through Laban. It's a decent ball as well. But unable to control it was Harvinson, but he's got on the end of it again here. Harvinson against Gurditch. Harvinson gets around his man just about. Goes down in the box. It's a little clumsy from all parties. Play on's the call from Giannis Isis. It's still alive here for the Sharks. It's headed away, though, by Latham. Laban. Good through ball from him a moment ago to release Harvinson. Anthony Laban, the boy from North Geelong, pulling the strings in defensive midfield.
Yeah, no, Harbison really, Donny Gertrude would be disappointed that he just beat him twice, and don't know if there was a penalty, but really caused a lot of risk there in the defence of Dandy City. Be very disappointed he lost his, and Harbison just lost his footing. He stayed on. What a great opportunity.
Oh, a nervy moment. You can see the phone is out in the Dandenong City technical area, so it may well be that Nick Tolios is on the phones. The flag stays down here for Valley Cessnick, who could square it. He had players, including Kenny Athu, lining up in the box. Would have just needed a touch. In the end, it's really good defending. Will Gillingham was there. All hands on deck. That Port Melbourne back three, putting in a good shift. There's an impending substitution here for Dandy City, and there's players going down left, right and centre. Gaku Inaba is the latest to go down, holding his right ankle. And it looks like, Peter, we're going to see Brad Plant get an opportunity here. Number 7, 3 goals for him this season. Trying to better his total of 4 last year.
Well, you need to make some changes. At the moment, you need to mix it up. I think Bauer's coming off, and it's time for a bit of change. Maybe a tactical reset as well, Steve.
Absolutely, and the other one coming on is the tall midfield presence of Diego Cuba, the Queenslander, 23 years of age now, who turned 23 on Monday, looking for his first goal of the season as well. So it's Dandy City with the free kick. Taken by Sewell, floated into the back post area. It's away by that Sharks defence. A bit of pressure on McCloskey from the risky back pass from Muyet.
We haven't seen much from Kenny Ather. He's just come on, but Diego Cuba is a crucial player, very important player. He's had the most assists in the NPL this year, as well as set-piece assists. So we talked about the aerial duels. They're very good at Dandy City, and I think adding Diego Cuba now is an important time, and someone who can really get that ball in, because he's had a lot of assists this year, leading the NPL.
I should say Diego Cuba does actually have 2 goals this season. My apologies. Ball into the box. The back post, they're lining up for it, and it's over the top of the goal. So Diego Cuba looking for his 3rd of the season rather than his 1st.
I can see some tactical changes here. Dandenong City, the coach is shouting out some interesting instructions just to really try to get a little bit of momentum. Faster ball, very important. The tempo's not fast for Dandy City, and that's where they really got to raise it. And when you've got someone like Kenny Athau and also Mustafa up front, you really got to use the speed of the ball, and we haven't seen enough of that. And also in terms of their accuracy and efficiency up front, it's not there, and that's got to pick up as well, Stephen.
That's right, and it's like Oliver Yankolowski's being cleaned up by the substitute Brad Plant, who's the man with the lower centre of gravity. He's a solid unit, Brad Plant, for a shorter guy. Came through with the momentum, and Yankolowski was awarded the free kick from Giannis Isis. And the ball's out of play in front of the home fans who are gathered over there, hoping that Port Melbourne can find themselves somehow still in the top flight next season. And it's time for a change, their first of the evening, and it's an opportunity for the most experienced face out of the possible substitutes for Maxim Gajdowski, which is Nathan Dibb, on to make his 12th appearance of the season. Coming on to replace Aidan Brown, so an attacking midfielder for a striker, so maybe a slight tactical switch here, unless he's just going to go on and play as one of the two strikers, which he may well be doing, by the way. He's charging out there and looking to occupy the central defenders. I wonder if that is a tactic. They do look like they're trying to occupy the two centre-backs in Arbour and Gurditch. They are the two attacking players for Port Melbourne. Going man on man to try and put some pressure on there, Peter.
Yeah, in Arbour, we know when he gets forward, he gets in dangerous positions. So does Cessnick. So you want to push them back a little bit. You need a bit of speed to hold them back, and maybe that's a tactical change. As you can see, Dibb, quite a lot of enthusiasm, a little bit of speed. He's not a natural striker, but that's the pressure you want to really put up higher up the field.
They don't really have a lot of options of out-and-out strikers. Even Liston Diaz, their leading scorer, is more of a winger, but there's not a lot of options when you take away the likes of him as well. As hooked in by Plant with the instep, and it's up and over, but it's taken a touch off a Port Melbourne boot on the way over the crossbar.
I think Dandy City are a little bit sloppy with it. Just that final third, they're just not getting the shots that they want and even the delivery. But we know what they're able to finish. We know they've got a lot of attacking threats, but they'll be a little bit disappointed so far this first part of this second half. So let's see where they go through here.
Well, they're congesting that 6-yard box. Everyone back in defence here for the Sharks. Giannakopoulos was at the back post trying to win the header. It's a good scrap for the ball on the near side. It was Dibb, the substitute, getting involved, and there's an opportunity opening up here. Harvinson, full stride, but Brad Plant, the other player to come on the pitch recently for Dandy City, getting across, and a good bit of covering from the opposite flank as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Harbison was disappointed there. Took the ball forward. Plant came across. He didn't control the ball where he wanted to. But really, speed is causing a little bit of concern for Dandy City because he's got that ability to take on those two defenders, those two centre-backs.
Look at Dibb here. Gets to the byline, goes to ground. He probably needed to keep his feet there, Nathan Dibb. And he's distraught that he hasn't won a corner kick at least. Well, this second half is evaporating fast. Both of these sides really need a goal. A draw isn't ideal for either side. And if Hume can score here, they will find themselves in the top 6 tonight. So that's what's at stake. There's a fair bit riding on this next 15 or 20 minutes, depending on how much time we have added on.
Yeah, very, very important phase of the game now for Dandy City. They know where they stand. It's actually in their hands. They get the result today. They're pretty much close into the 6, so need a bit of urgency. And I can see that from the coach on the sideline, really barking instructions to Cessnick and several other players to just really push forward and create that second goal.
Well, they're getting numbers forward here again. Moving around the call from the technical area. Heard that through the effects mic here. Here's Cuba, the substitute. Out wide is Sewell. It's cut out well by Vikertza, so the move breaks down all too quickly. Gibbon Harvinson trying to put some pressure on here. Marum, calm and composed. Inaba steps past Trajewski. Still he goes, Gaku Inaba. Confidence is up. He scored his only 2 goals in NPL Victoria last week and tonight. Diego Cuba, space for the cross, and he can whip a ball in. McCloskey's there, and it's out of play. Port Melbourne can take their time a little bit here if they need to.
It's that final pass that's really missing, that efficient final pass, that progressive pass, that smart pass, if I can call it that, from Dandy City. And I can hear their coach from over here asking to recycle it. That's because they're just not getting that final pass and then they have to start again. And you just need that smart pass just to break through the Port Melbourne team, because if you're just breaking down in that last, I suppose, attacking moment.
There's Laban sliding in. Deep in a bit of space. His touch was heavy, but it was fizzed at him pretty firmly. But he picks it up here again, and Vikertza's got a little bit of space. Can they get an overload down that flank, or maybe through the middle here? It's knotted down by Harbinson, well off the chest, in fact. End-to-end stuff here developing. Big challenge there on Plant. Vikertza looking for Mel's. Inaba's ball forward. The tempo's going up. It's getting pretty helter-skelter out there. It's not one for the football purists, but you can just, anything could happen out there, Peter.
Yes, playing I wouldn't say pinball, but really some big tackles there. And Jankolovsky really showing, what his ability in going in. And Port Melbourne, they're finally poised. I would say that just lacking that sort of second big striker. Obviously playing Dib as maybe a false 9 or a second striker, putting pressure on. But really, they're in this game and then going in, and they know if they can get a result, momentum goes their way. But Dandy City, tactically, maybe need to make a few changes. They've threatened, but that missing that final pass, and really not really threatening the Port Melbourne goal early on in this half.
Here's Sesnick receiving, and he can play it forward to Latham, who can turn and face forward. And he's charging a goal here. Jamie Latham gets into the penalty area. He's got a couple of Sharks players to beat as he weaves one way, then the other, and eventually finds an ally. And the flag's up for offside. Nice disappointing for the Dandenong City side. Some unhappy Hajduk men in the technical area to our left.
Well, Latham looks most likely. He's very creative, but as I said, the final pass is missing. I don't think some of his teammates are reading the play and getting that into that position, but he's buzzing around. He's creating those opportunities and just really need that final pass.
Well, it's a game that Dandenong City would have earmarked for 3 points, no doubt. Tonight they've been on a really good unbeaten streak. 6 unbeaten, 2 wins and 4 draws since they had a bit of a rough night, a bit of an off night at Broadmeadows against Hume City back on the 6th of June. That was another night where Nick Tolios was not on the technical area, not due to holidays in Greece, but due to a touchline suspension that he was serving that night. Here's Riyad Muyet, all the way back to Romic, this time on the left foot. Only as far as Chesnick. Trajewski. Good little combination here. Laban. Calm on the ball. Diego came to apply the pressure. Diego Cuba that was, but still Port were able to play forward. Inaba hacks it away. Flicked on by Cuba. Sewell getting themselves up the park one way or another. Latham's on the end of it if it will stay in play, but the whistle's gone off the ball. And was it out of play for a throw, or is Sewell protesting that he was caught late there? Looks like it is going to be a throw-in decision. It's only 10 minutes left. Someone to find a winner here. There might not be too much stoppage time either. We haven't had too many delays in this second half. Here's some good enterprising play from Latham. Plays it out wide. Bauer is the man to get the cross in all the way to the back post, but it's too deep. Goob Mustafa is giving chase. Chesnik can pick up the loose ball. Gurdic. Giannakopoulos. Corey Sewell stepping into midfield from the fullback position. Latham, who's got the ball turned to face forward umpteen times. His shot was blocked by Gillingham. I just feel like the players are getting pretty tired out there now for both sets of both teams.
Yeah, I mean, Port Melbourne's, they've put a lot of the players, Laban, Mels, Muyert, Jankolovsky, big, as you say, Stephen, big shifts, and they might get tiring now. But Dandy City are missing that final pass at the moment. Last 10 minutes, they really need to get that right.
Here's Mustafa. He thought about opening up the space for the shot on the left foot. Giannakopoulos has already hit the woodwork. He finds Plant out in the wide left area. Bauer's out there too. Good little combinations here. Can they unlock this Port Melbourne defence? And that can't have been too far away either that time. Good patience by the Dandy City team on the edge of the box, fashioning the chance. And the shot was just wide.
Yeah, that was Corey Sewell. I mean, he's pushing up a bit more. Inaba as well. It's probably going to come from the defence, maybe, if it's going to come, because that's where it seems most likely. But, yeah, good shot there. Just a bit wide there by Sewell, just showing what his repertoire and his ability to also push forward.
Here's Dibb receiving from McCloskey. Double sub coming up as well for Dandy City. Webster and Lino stripped and ready to go. Plenty of experience there. Predominant part of it from Jack Webster. Cuba. Well played, Gillingham. Oh, and he finds his man up top as well in Harbinson. Still he goes, Phil Harbinson. He's looking to his right. Vakurtis is motoring forward down the right flank. Gets the early ball in. It bounces awkwardly in the 6-yard box, and that could have gone anywhere. It took a wicked bounce.
Yeah, I could see the face of Harbinson. Just missed him. He could have created havoc in there, and that's... Dandy City got to take a few risks now. The last 10 minutes are getting two substitutes ready, two very experienced substitutes, but on the counter-attack, on the transition, this was mentioned on Sharks TV by the Port Melbourne coach. They're going to try to do those counter-attacks, and that was one that could have went anywhere, Stephen.
That's right. Well, they certainly, as we said, they didn't open the game in counter-attacking fashion. They were on the front foot, but it certainly, they've been hemmed in the latter stages of this second half, and counter-attacking is the only way forward. And they've got a bit of pace up top as well, as we've seen with Harbinson, and getting that early ball in by Johnny Vakurtis, the experienced player playing as a right wing back, normally a nominal right full back. And that change is going to take place now. So it's Johnny Gurdic is one of the players coming off. Webster is on. Lino is on. Belly Chesnick, the other player who's been sacrificed. Another opportunity. Harbinson for Vakurtis. Tries his luck and tipped over spectacularly by Marum. Well, Johnny Vakurtis, well, we've seen the defenders on the score sheet twice already tonight. That would have been something special.
Fantastic shot by Vakurtis, and he caught the keeper off the line. And you've got to try things, and this is one of the... We haven't seen many set pieces or corners, and actually Port Melbourne, one of the probably bottom teams in terms of corners in the competition in NPL. But an opportunity now late, a chance to, create some havoc in the Dandy City box.
This would be something if they can score here. That shot by Vakurtis, even better on second viewing. The ball comes in, it's punched away by Marum. It's allowed to bounce in the area by Yagub Mustafa, who gets it away eventually. Here's Vakurtis, who came close to giving Port Melbourne the lead for the second time tonight, only moments ago. McCloskey unable to control the high ball. Muyet trying to show some trickery here. Forward by McCloskey. Dibb's going to give chase. Webster is the fresh legs, making his return to the Dandy City team tonight after a stint on the sidelines. There he's back out there at the thick of it again, the experienced central defender from Frank Holohan. Latham still full of running. He hasn't slowed down a bit over the course of the 90. Plant. This is Lino, the substitute. Still Plant looking for space to try and find a way around Trycheski, who scrambles it away. Good defending again by the attacking midfielder, Mitch Trycheski.
Good hustle there by Trycheski. We haven't seen many balls aimed at Othello in the box, and that's something that Dandy City have been doing all season. So really they'll be a bit disappointed not getting Kenny in those sort of positions. But Port Melbourne, they're really putting a little bit of pressure on and causing some problems here for Dandy City.
Just feels like there's another goal in this game, and Kenny Matthews on the end of this one, but he's going to be flagged offside. Romich couldn't afford to play dead there. He had to come out and present the challenge as well, and he did well. The flag was going up in any case. So, yeah, you do just feel that there's another goal in this one, Peter, the way it's pinging from one end to the other.
It's a matter of who unlocks that pass, because we just Dandy City just missing that little bit of that cutting edge, that end product. We know they've had a couple of posts as well, a bit unlucky there, but just missing that end product or that final pass. And with 4 or 5 minutes left, there's not going to be many opportunities, so they need to get that right. Port Melbourne putting a lot of work in, and Trycheski's come really strong this second half. We haven't mentioned much in the first, and George Malles and Laban also, they've got a lot of experienced players, so they're still a threat.
Laban all the way back to Romich. Up the field towards Trycheski, who wins the header. McCloskey's there, runs into the Port Melbourne bench. Yes, hoping this one's going to find the touchline. He decides to not risk the chance of that happening, and he's able to play forward here. This is good little combinations here. Mel's involved as well. McCloskey, and they win themselves a throw right in front of Maxim Gajdorski's technical area. Inside the last 3 minutes of regulation time, 2.5 left. So both sides running out of time for that go-ahead goal. 3 points would be vital for different reasons for both of them. Laban, that's a good little ball for Verkertzis. Johnny Verkertzis, it's a heavy touch. Can he cut it back? And Gaku Inaba at full stretch does really well there. He hasn't slowed down over the course of the 90, has Gaku Inaba. Getting himself on the score sheet and then doing the best bit of defending that he's done all night right there.
Yeah, been one of the better players for Dandy City. Dandy City probably tactically they've got to go more for a high press. I mean, they've got to look for a turnover and push Port Melbourne back and create those opportunities. But it looks like Port Melbourne have, a couple of times now transitioned out and are creating some havoc in the Dandy City lines.
Well, Dandenong City's got everyone back. There's no outlet man sitting outside the box here if they're able to make the clearance. It's McCloskey to deliver the in-swinger here. Matt Murray trying to command his area. In by McCloskey. Oh, it's a shallow one as well. It's flicked up at the near post, though. It might sit there for someone in the red and blue. Dibb, back to goal. Looking for an ally. He's eventually found one in Gillingham, who floats it up to the back post area, and it's claimed by Maram. Crucial moment there for Dandy City, and they hold strong, and they're going to look to turn defence into attack right away here through Latham. You've got lights going off and lights coming on here. I don't know if that's on a timer or what's happening here, but the players have got to keep concentrating. At least the floodlights of the pitch have stayed on. Here's Corey Sewell. Yagub Mustafa in a little pocket of space here. Almost invited to shoot. Plant. Pressure from that Port Melbourne defence again. They're getting men behind the ball. Plant. Sprays it out to Latham. He's got Verkertzis to beat. This is Jamie Latham. Pings it in, but it's straight at the keeper, and that's not the ball that Dandenong City was looking for at all.
Yeah, we're talking about the final ball. It's just missing, and you know they've got a little bit of a higher press now, pushing Port Melbourne back, but just that's just straight to the keeper, and that's just not good enough, especially in these last minutes. Latham's been one of the best players, but just didn't have the solution there.
Well, maybe here's the chance for Yaqub Mustafa right on the edge of his area as Romic gave the ball a little tap with the mitt, but he was inside the paint at the time, and then he had to use the feet, so well played. Luka Romic passes that test with flying colours. It was an awkward one. Corey Sewell. Space here for Inaba, the solitary goal scorer tonight for Dandy City, as he was last week. Latham with space and time to get the cross in. Athu was there. Yaqub Mustafa was there as well, and he mistimed his header. Giannakopoulos, it bounced off a little bit awkwardly, but he got it under his spell. This is gripping stuff here in the final minutes at JL Murphy. We're into stoppage time. In by Sewell. Latham is still making the running at the back post area. Latham drills it in low. It's away by Gillingham. Port Melbourne's sole goal scorer tonight. Inaba. Tension growing and growing here. Latham. Slaloming run from him. Not the first time we've seen that tonight. And he's lost possession. Final polish not on the end of the passage of play. Here's Dibb. What can Port Melbourne conjure up here? Well, it would have been offside if they hadn't tried to play that one through. Like Dibb was just ahead of the last man. Lino, the substitute, giving chase. Away by Vikertzis. Just checking the fourth official's board. I'm not sure if I've seen it go up, Peter.
Yes, it has. 4 minutes. 4 minutes of extra time, and actually time running out now for Dandy City. It's really, maybe a couple of minutes left.
Phil Harvinson down with a bit of cramp, stretching out the limbs. Well, we have played, over 2 minutes of that time already. The ball was refusing to go out there, though, Peter. Kelvin K. Berg, the fourth official in front of us, he didn't know when he's going to get a chance to indicate that 4 minutes. And here's number 4 for Dandy City, Corey Sewell. He floats it in, and the flag's up again for offside. And that won't please Dandenong City. It was a good ball in by Sewell as well.
Very good ball in, and we know that Dandy City very good at the set piece, or very good in terms of the aerial duels, and what an opportunity, just offside. Are they going to have enough time to score that final goal? It's a missed opportunity if they don't get it. I mean, this, with a human result, this is a game that Dandy City can get the result and get into the 6, and they'll be disappointed.
Well, it was Plant at the back post. Timing of his run, it's not quite on the money, and that's the end of the shift for Phil Harvinson. He's had a real crack tonight, occupying those defenders, hasn't he, Peter? And it's a chance now for the player in the number 8 jersey, which is a debut for Lachlan Maguire, who's got 1 goal in under-19s this season. Been a junior at the club since 2020, so congratulations to Lachlan Maguire, and hello to family and friends who are tuning in to see his debut. He's not going to get a lot of time, but nonetheless, he will make his first appearance right here on NPL Victorian Friday Night Football. Is there more to come as well in this one? Time is just about up. Sewell's got a bit of space in front of him. He decides to play it forward because he was being chased down by Lockie Maguire. Kenny Athu made some space for the shot, manufactured it well, and the end product wasn't there.
Well taken by Kenny. He'll be disappointed in that. Just thought I might have got a ricochet for a corner, but no. Way off target, and really that could be the last opportunity. He just hasn't had the service as well. They just haven't been able to put the balls in those dangerous positions. But you've got to give that credit to Port Melbourne. They've played hybrid defending, but yet really strong. Jankolovsky marking really well. And we know Dandy City had some posts, but really they haven't really been clinical, and that's the missing piece.
Come close a couple of times. That chance that fell for Yaqub Mustafa in the first half comes to mind. Giannakopoulos creating a good chance from outside the box that hit the woodwork in the second half. couple of close calls with the offside flag in second half too. They're taking this one quickly because stoppage time is well and truly up at the moment, so this will be the last play of the game. Latham, quality ball into the box is needed. He feeds it out in front of Diego Cuba, sliding in as Muyet, and that might just about do us here. Dandenong City going to need to take this throw in super quick here. Well, there's confusion. Matt Marum was coming up for the throw-in. He's been told to stay at home. It is 1-1 after all. They're not down by a goal. They're going to get time to take a corner here, Peter.
Last chance cafe, as someone notable said once, Tan. This is it. This is the opportunity. We're probably past the 4 minutes. Can Dandy City get that result?
Well, it's really approaching 6 minutes. Marum wanted to go up for the corner as well. He's in the centre circle, inside the Port Melbourne half. Latham to supply the corner. He goes short to Sewell. Little bounce pass, and he floats it into the back post area. They're queuing up for it here. Webster is there. What a story that would have been if Jack Webster could have turned that home. That's full time. Giannis Isis has seen enough. And it ends as a 1-1 result here at JL Murphy. It's a stunned silence that greets the referee's whistle here. Neither team really satisfied with the point, but that's what they're going to have to take at full time at JL Murphy Reserve. A hard-fought game, a lot at stake for both sides. We'll take a look at the updated ladder in just a moment. But at full time, after the goal on 6 minutes by Will Gillingham, his first goal for Port Melbourne in NPL Victoria, cancelled out by a goal from another central defender, Gaku Inaber. His second goal in as many matches for Dandenong City. It finishes at JL Murphy at 1-1. Peter Paleologus, a tough contest, a little bit dour at times, but free-flowing at other times as well. It had something for everyone except for a late winner.
Yeah, missing that late winner. Hard to fathom result for both teams. Both teams, I would say Dandy City had a little bit more opportunity, but as we mentioned, no end product. Port Melbourne really stretched them a little bit in a couple of transition moments. A couple of shots by Johnny Varkizis as well. Both teams will be disappointed with the result because it's a neutral result that doesn't help them either way, and especially Dandy City. That could have been in the top 6. They'll be looking at this and say, what a missed opportunity. Jack Webster nearly got at the end of it right there. They've had the post twice, 3 times, as you said. Mustafa also had an opportunity, but football can be quite cruel, and a very disappointing result for Dandy City. Port Melbourne still got a little bit of hope. Big game against Altona. Did really well, very undermanned, but also be a little bit disappointed because they did have a couple of small opportunities right at the end there.
And that's right, and that is a full-time score as well from Oakley, which sees Port Melbourne, they close another point on Altona. So Port Melbourne up to 12th. They are still 5 points and a lot of goal difference behind Altona Magic, as you mentioned in the halftime break, Peter, as well. It's basically 6 points given that goal difference that they trail by, but they can definitely cut the deficit again back to 2 points if they can get the results at Paisley Park next week. What a game that shapes to be. When I say next week, next round, because that is the Doherty Cup next Saturday at the home of the Matildas. Looking forward to seeing you out there, Peter.
Yeah, it should be a fascinating game. Traditional, I would say, Greek derby, not being a Greek background, but Heidelberg in South Melbourne, who upset them, and they'll probably play the best game of the year in terms of that semi-final. But looking forward to that, and everyone get along. I know people say the home Matildas, different type of pitch, but it's a big game, a historic game, old NSL rivalries, and looking forward to that. And then we've got the last 2 rounds, so exciting games ahead, and looking forward to seeing everybody support all the NPL teams, Stephen.
Absolutely, Peter. Well, it's been a pleasure tonight, as you speak of. A lot of exciting football to come in Victoria still, just in the next few weeks. That's even before we get to the finals for 2025. Say next week, Heidelberg United looking for just their second Doherty Cup. South Melbourne looking to go back-to-back in that competition as well. So that's very exciting. And, of course, those 2 rounds of NPL Victoria that remain, round 25 and 26, and that final round, all matches played concurrently on the Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. on Saturday the 23rd, something that we don't see in other competitions in Australia, including the A-League. It makes it extra spicy.
It does, it does. And, you know, if the result went either way for Dandy, or, as I said before, they're probably both disappointed, Port Melbourne and Dandy. If they got one of them got the result today, that last round would have been really, really spicy. But we move on to the Doherty Cup and then round 25. Looking forward to those matches. And nothing's over for Dandenong City, but also Port Melbourne. Huge game against Altona. As they say, do or die, but they're still in that.
That's right. And their fate will probably be known at the end of that match on Saturday week. So all eyes will be on that particular fixture at Paisley Park at 3:15 on Saturday week. Dandenong City, they play the Melbourne Knights and Melbourne Victory, two sides that are also in the bottom three at the moment. They'll fancy themselves to get 6 points out of those two fixtures, and they'll probably need to, because Hume, who sit 1 point ahead of them with an inferior goal difference, will play Melbourne Victory and St Albans in their final two games, shaping up for a rollicking ride home to see who makes that top six out of those sides as well. NPL Victoria live stream. Big thanks to Chris on our right here on Stats. Big thanks to Sam behind the camera as well. Big thanks to Peter Paleolog. It's been fantastic working together again. I've been Steve Curtin. Thank you for your company, the viewer at home. We've thoroughly enjoyed this contest. And at full time at JL Murphy Reserve as we sign off, it is Port Melbourne 1, Dandenong City 1. Enjoy your weekend of football.